floating weekend so fast. But luckily the day's come to take my cares away. It's not Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, that's right. It's Friday, Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday, Friday. Today I know the weekend. So I'll get out of bed and be to work on time. I'll give this day to the company, the next 2 days of mine. And when my day's over and the final work hour's passed, I'll go home, have a shot of Cuero to the boss who can kiss my Friday, Friday. Tonight I'll party with my friends. Friday, Friday. Today I know the weekends. Friday, Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday, bitches. Enjoy yourselves.
And stay warm.
Yes. We got to get that fixed. It's like a dead spot somewhere in there.
It's very sensitive.
Yeah. Messing around with it here. Yes, welcome to Friday. Going to be cold. 16 for a high today. With some clouds, kind of the same thing all weekend. Looks like Saturday and Sunday going to be cloudy with high temps in the mid-teens. Maybe back into the low 20s by next week, but at this point, does it really matter?
No, it doesn't. It sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the same, but it is cold out, so yeah. Date night, we'll be hooking a couple of people up with that. Somebody in Eau Claire, somebody in La Crosse, going to win date night. Register online at rockmornings.com. Pizza and movie passes for the weekend. That'd be fun.
That would be super fun. We just went to the movies last weekend. It was great.
You said you watched Moana too?
Yeah, well, we did. The girls did, and the boys went to the new Dracula
Nosferatu?
movie, which they said was
I did not go to the theater, but we did watch a newish movie, Speak No Evil.
Oh, yeah.
The creepy family in the countryside.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the movies are fun, and the comfy chairs and snuggling up under a blanket and eating some junior mints and some popcorn. So we've got your chance to do that on date night.
Register online at rockmornings.com. You can listen to the program on that website, check out the daily podcast, and find all our contact info as well. We'll get to some music from Offspring in just a few minutes. Stick around.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Wisconsin police out of New Lisbon have now identified a woman who was killed in that shooting on Monday.
Yeah, they say, right, it's a murder and he's on the run still?
Yeah, they have an updated photo of him. It's not a very good picture, but it looks like him in a convenience store of some kind. Elizabeth Kolba, who was 33, killed inside that home in New Lisbon. The police said the other two names are being withheld, ages 12 and 13.
I know.
New Lisbon Police Department naming Virgil Thew, T-H-E-W, as a person of interest in the case after Kolba and two minors were found dead at the home along West Bridge Street on Monday in New Lisbon. The three were found following a report of a missing minor out of Monroe County who was last seen with Thew. While searching, New Lisbon police were also notified of a second missing minor. Law enforcement have not confirmed if the minors found dead in the home were the same ones that were reported missing, but assumptions, obviously. This guy is 150 pounds, 5'10", considered armed and dangerous. And again, if you see Virgil Thew, do not approach him, according to the police. In New Orleans, it sounds like it could have been a whole lot worse.
I know.
We're talking about remote detonator explosive devices, apparently all along the French Quarter. Inside coolers in two nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he drove the pickup into that crowd of people who were celebrating New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street. Biden, in a news conference yesterday, said we have no information that anyone else was involved in the attack. So that's kind of new because they did say that he didn't act alone.
They thought so, but more and more, evidence and more.
They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers in two nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he rammed into the crowd with his vehicle. They assessed he had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off those two ice chests. So obviously, yes, it could have been a whole lot worse in New Orleans than what it was. Federal agents investigating potential links to the Vegas explosion as well. I guess that guy had some kind of falling out with his wife, and there was a bunch of text messages and all sorts of...
But that seems unrelated, is what I
Well, there's some similarities, obviously. They happened on New Year's. It was explosive devices, veterans.
Both renting vehicles.
Renting the vehicle from the same company. There are some parallels. I don't know if the two of them are linked together other than those parallels. Biden said as of now, they've just been briefed. They have not found any evidence of such a connection thus far. I've directed them to keep looking. Ugh. Awful. And back in Wisconsin, the Elections Commission voting yesterday to investigate the Madison City Clerk's office. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the election, but still, 193 unprocessed absentee ballots were found during a post-election audit process.
Like in a box underneath somebody's desk?
Kind of, yeah. That one of those situations.
Over there?
200 people who voted didn't get their vote counted, which, again, wouldn't have made a difference one way or the other in the overall elections, but still.
But you can't have that. Absolutely cannot have that.
The Wisconsin Elections Commission, made up of 6 members appointed by both Democrats and Republicans, argued that a lack of transparency from the Madison clerk required the commission to dig into the process. Commission Chair Ann Jacobs, a Democratic appointee, said this is such a serious oversight, stressing that the urgency to finalize an investigation quickly. Candidates for the next spring election have already begun circulating nomination papers. Deadline for ballot access Tuesday. So,
Tuesday, yeah.
You start
this
talking about,
week.
The prelims and all that stuff and how this could affect that. So they've ordered an investigation into that with the ballots going missing. We've got Evanescence in a couple of minutes. If you need something, you can text us, rockmornings.com, for all our contact info. As I mentioned, you went and saw Moana 2, and the boys saw Nosferatu.
Mm.
We saw Speak No Evil, James McAvoy.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy good. Kind of turned out exactly as I thought it would. No real, curveballs. But still a good watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, the boys gave the movie 2 thumbs up. They thought it was great. Part color, part black and white, really well. Visually, it's stunning. It's just
Had either of them seen any of the previous versions of Nosferatu?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. And they thought it was great. I mean, it was really well done in their opinion.
We'll get to that Evanescence after the Offspring.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Evanescence with Bring Me to Life on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Bowls, all sorts of bowls. Of course, we had the Sugar Bowl, which got postponed because of the events of New Year's Eve and in New Orleans. But Notre Dame took care of business yesterday.
Heinisch draws the assignment of closing the game. He works right around Monroe Freeling and drops Stockton for the 4th sack of the game, putting this game on ice and punching their ticket to Miami, Florida.
Marcus Freeman and Al Golden have said every time they've had an injury, those who have been called upon to step in have done it. And this time it's Heinisch.
Number 7 Notre Dame beating number 2 Georgia 23-10 in the college football playoff quarterfinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl. They'll move on to face number 6 Penn State. That game next Thursday, the Capital One Orange Bowl. The other bowl game yesterday was number 14 Ole Miss beating up on Duke 52-20. That was the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. You've got the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl today at 3 o'clock on ESPN. North Texas taking on Texas State, and that is followed by Minnesota taking on Virginia Tech at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. More bowls all over the place. Bucks lost to the Nets last night, 113-110. That's their 3rd loss in their last 4 games. Bucks are off tonight. They're at home against Portland tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Badger men's basketball returning from the holiday break. They're at home tonight against Iowa at 6 p.m.
Looking at the Kohl Center.
Yep, FS1 is where you can catch that. And, of course, Week 18 in the NFL kicks off tomorrow with a couple of games. Cleveland at Baltimore, 3:30 on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN+. Then it's followed by Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, 7 p.m. on ABC and ESPN+. Packers will host the Bears on Sunday at noon. Lions, Vikings, Sunday Night Football, number 1 overall seed in the NFC. That's going to be a hell of a game.
I think so, too.
Hell of a game. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got some Volbeat on the way. And if you need something on this Friday morning, let us know. Find all of our contact info online at rockmornings.com. Stay buttoned up, man. It's chilly out there.
Yeah, it's going to be chilly this weekend. It's going to be lows down to 0 on the, in the evenings and overnights when you're walking the dog in the dark with your headlamp on. You're going to need excellent gloves for sure. Yeah,
I got some perplexed looks at the gas station this morning when I stopped to grab something at Quick Trip because I wear shorts, you know. Like, it's not that cold.
It's not that cold. I agree with you, but it's chilly.
Pop Evil and From Ashes to New coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Oh, you know who you are. You've been doing your daily action, putting lots of overtime. You need some time off satisfaction. Just think how tough it's been. You've been putting out all that labor. If you use your wit, you can get out quick and do yourself a favor. Friday in effect, and you're pretty beat, I bet. It's been one tough week, you've hit your peak, and you've earned your paycheck. But now this week is over, and it's a little fun you're seeking. Your grin is wide, and I know why. Look out, here come the weekend. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That weekend's gonna be a monster, y'all.
The weekend is here, and it's going to be cold. In the teens pretty much all weekend long, maybe back into the low 20s by Monday, but when it's this cold, you can't really tell. 16 today, same thing tomorrow. Lots of clouds in the forecast. Staying inside this weekend, maybe watching a movie. Nothing new in theaters this weekend.
No, really? Nothing?
No new releases, but there is a new one next Friday. That Den of Thieves Part 2 comes out next Friday. Obviously, you still got Wicked in theaters. As you said, Moana 2 is in theaters. The Nosferatu movie. The Complete Unknown, which came out on Christmas, the Bob Dylan film. So there's stuff at the theaters. It's just there's no new releases. We're in that weird sort of dead time when nobody wants to do anything new. So
Sure. There's Sonic the Hedgehog is out too.
I think, what is that, Part 3?
Mufasa.
So yeah, there are movies, but just nothing new. In terms of television, this weekend you've got that new Jason Kelce late night show. It's on ESPN on Sunday. What's Sunday? Saturday night. It's called They Call It Late Night with Jason Kelce. Series premiere of that on ESPN. Tomorrow night on Sunday, you got the Golden Globe Awards on CBS. Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches Season 2 premiere on AMC+. And, of course, this weekend you got a whole bunch of football action going on. Bowl games today are the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. That's at 3 o'clock on ESPN, followed by the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Okay.
That's the Minnesota game. That's also on ESPN at 6:30. Tomorrow there's only one bowl game. It's the Bahamas Bowl presented by Atlantis Resorts, and that is Buffalo at Liberty. And then, of course, you got NFL action tomorrow afternoon. You got a couple of games on ABC and ESPN. Then, of course, the Sunday slate. And then that's it for NFL. There's no Monday night game as Week 18 comes to a close and the season comes to an end. The Lions and Vikings will finish up on NBC with the bid for the number one seed in the NFC. But that's what's on the boob tube and in theaters this weekend. Not a whole lot. Obviously, there's plenty of programming, but just in terms of, like, brand new stuff. Yeah. Probably going to just kind of veg out and watch a lot of football.
Took a long break from Yellowstone over the holidays. We didn't watch any of the episodes, believe it or not. Between movies and Christmas movies and traveling and seeing friends and family and all of that stuff, we didn't. So probably going to get back on the Yellowstone train this weekend.
Where are we at? Season 3?
4.
Season 4.
So halfway through Season 4, and then, of course, Season 5 just dropping a couple weeks ago. So we'll make some good progress this weekend.
All caught up and ready to go for Season 5?
Yep.
Volbeat working on, apparently done working on their next album, their 9th album, I believe, and probably going to see that at some point in 2025. So looking forward to that. Here's some older Volbeat. It's Heaven or Hell.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
Some Megadeth on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Clouds and cold today, 16 for a high. Same thing tomorrow and Sunday. Good weather to stay inside, maybe make some chili. Watch some football. Have a beer or two. We got all the cleaning and decorations put away last weekend, so
we
there's
still
like
have
nothing.
The tree to do.
Yours is fake, though, right?
No, it's real.
Really?
It's still hanging in there. But we talked about it, but we had a big bunch of people over on New Year's Eve, and it was like, everything else is down, but that's still up. Yeah. So we got to do that this weekend.
We were both on New Year's Day, so I wanted it out of the house.
For sure.
Some Sublime coming up in just a bit. If you want to get in touch with us this morning, rockmornings.com. Let us know what you're up to this weekend. Let me know if you got something you want to hear. My buddy Josh wants to know if we're going to be making our way to a brewery this weekend with the dog. He wants to meet the dog.
Well, that sounds like a good idea. Not a lot of plans, so maybe.
No, maybe we'll get out of the house, go drink a beer or two, bring the dog with us. Like to bring the dog wherever we go, start socializing, all that stuff. It's so big. It's gotten so big.
They get big so fast.
Yeah.
Gangly.
Very, very gangly. Lots of
legs and paws and
lots of animated action between the dog and the cat yesterday. Mm-hmm. A lot of that going on. Getting along. The one problem is that, so we have a coffee table in the upstairs living room, and it's got one of those tops that comes up, so that you can turn it into like a desk or like a dining space or whatever if you're sitting on the couch. While the cat obviously jumps on that, walks across it all the time, whether it's down or whether it's up. It's kind of his escape route. The dog, however, is now big enough to get on the couch and then jump onto the coffee table. I have yet to see it, but my wife has told me it's happened several times. And that's a no-no. We got to discourage that. I'm concerned because Maggie, our boxer, who we just put down a few months ago, was older the whole time we had her. And there was, where she had some energy, but she was a big dog. She was like 70 pounds. She wasn't going to jump over the fence.
She was just
She was chill. She was happy to be in the backyard and run around and do her business and come back inside. This dog, I'm very concerned that it's going to jump over the fence because we only have the 3.5, 4 foot fence, whatever it is. And yeah, I have a feeling. So we'll see. We may have to do some kind of tethered line or something like that for when the dog's out there for a while so it gets the gist of it to stay in the yard. We'll see. Obviously, Fenway's got nowhere to go. She's a little wiener dog. She's not jumping over anything.
Maybe they'll just use you. It'll be
some kind of
tag team effort.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Sublime coming up in just a bit. Stick around.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. With all the craziness that's been happening the last couple of weeks with the holidays and all the awful events of New Year's Eve, it can be easy to forget that not too long ago, many parts in the South were destroyed by a couple of hurricanes, and they're still cleaning up.
Oh, I know. There's people still displaced months and months later.
A woman in North Carolina is doing what she can to help reunite families with some precious photographs that may have blown away in the storms.
So she's found them and cleaned them up and kind of restored them? Is that...
As best as she can. Obviously, some of them are pretty damaged, but, wiping them clean, doing the best she can. She also started an Instagram page where she's posting these because a lot of them are physical pictures, not digital, obviously. If they live in the cloud or on your phone, then you probably have access to them. But Taylor Schenker lives in Canton near Asheville, which was pretty hard hit, apparently, Asheville was. Searching through some debris along the river there and hoped to recover some of her friend's things, which her friend's house was apparently completely destroyed. And as they were looking through some of the mud and torn up vegetation, she kept finding photographs.
Oh, that's great.
That had survived the elements. Middle school basketball team, wedding pictures, all sorts of things. Right, things you would print out, have on the mantle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of my son.
And you may not have any other copy, depending on when that was taken.
And wanted to do something. So she kept collecting all these photos and going around her community and finding more and more and more. And obviously, when you're talking about basic needs, right? Getting a roof over your head, getting running and clean water, taking showers, all that stuff.
Well, and lots
photos are way down the line. It's important, but...
And they lost loved ones. They had to mourn that.
So she decided to use Instagram to help reunite families with their missing photographs. Photos from Helene is the name of the Instagram page, Photos from Helene. About 24 photos have already been returned to their original owners.
That's great.
One of the pictures, apparently, that got returned, the person in the picture had passed away in the hurricane.
We spent about 4 hours digging through the mud, looking for any of her belongings that we could find. And during that process, we found, I found 4 or 5 different individual photographs. And we laid out the photos along with some clothes, and we found an American flag and all those things on the bank, hoping that they would be reunited with people, and then went home. And it honestly kept me up at night, just thinking here are these little photographs that miraculously made it through all of this and now are sitting here And what if it rains, or what if the wind blows and they aren't able to be reunited with their family? Like, that would be such a shame. It was like a middle school basketball team. It was a photo of a beloved dog. I found a wedding photo of a bride hugging somebody. You take photos because you have a moment that you want to remember, and so they did all seem just special. And thinking about the families who had lost them and what it would mean to be reunited, like, especially I found some like kids' school photos, and you can't really recreate those early childhood memories, especially. And so I knew it would definitely mean something if we were able to get it back to their families.
The Instagram account Photos from Helene obviously can be sad at times, but a lot of the comments, people recognizing themselves or loved ones, friends that they might know. This woman, Taylor Schenker, has found about 100 photos herself, but she's also gathered up more pictures that have been found through local search teams and rescue teams.
Yeah, it's kind of the hub for putting all of that out there to find its original
Says
owners.
She'll mail the photos to families if they've left the area, but there's an opportunity for hand delivery. She prefers that. She likes to get the hug.
I bet.
Pretty cool. Photos from Helene.
Yeah.
Doing what she can to help out. Falling in reverse in just a few minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Do you remember last year your grocery store incident? The Budger?
I do remember the Budger.
Recount the story to refresh people's memories in case they, or maybe they weren't listening.
Short story is that I'm in line and I'm putting my things on the conveyor belt. And usually when someone is done, you can put the little plastic thing if you want, either the person that's loading or the person behind you. I don't mind if they want to go ahead and grab it. But she started putting things on the conveyor belt before my stuff was all out of my cart. I still had stuff to load, and that she's starting to load, and I'm pushing her stuff back and she's pushing it forward, and it's like I still need to make space for all my stuff that's still in my cart, and you can obviously see that.
I had a similar incident this morning.
Were you at the counter at the convenience store, the gas station?
Yes, this is at a Quick Trip.
So you have your donut and your coffee and your stuff, and then somebody brings theirs up and sets it right next to yours?
This had never happened to me before. It was the campus Quick Trip, first of all, which you've been in.
Yeah,
I'm
many
assuming.
times.
And, much like all of the Quick Trips out there, there's a designated spot for where you're supposed to be when someone's ringing you up.
Next, please.
You know what I mean, though? Like when you go up to the counter,
there's a transaction
there's a spot about yay wide, and the register's either over here on the left or over here on the whichever way it goes. Usually it's a guy or gal on the left that's waiting on you, and you got your stuff and you put it down. There might be some scratchers here in the little window. There's obviously a bunch of crap they want you to buy next to the cash register,
gift cards and things like that.
The guy in front of me paid for his stuff, left the store. I walked up,
put your stuff down.
I put my stuff down. He scanned the three things, and as he's scanning, and this is at 4 a.m, this woman comes over with like a 12-pack of soda and a bunch of stuff in her hands.
Could she not carry it? I get that. Like, I gotta set something
it wasn't
down.
like so much that she couldn't carry, but it wasn't even a 12-pack. It was like one of those 6-packs, of cans of some kind of soda or whatever, and a few other things, and just starts putting it down like right where I'm at. Not like, because there's not any room over here. There's all this crap on the counter again. And and then she starts barking out at this guy, hey, there's a bunch of cases of water. Where are they? And I don't think she was like, mentally ill or anything like that, but she just was a budger. I don't know if she was the same lady you encountered at the grocery store and that's just her MO. And I didn't say anything and I didn't do anything. I just was like, all right, I'll just pay for my stupid Tornado and I'll get the hell out of here. But it was just, I was taken aback by the brazen nature of this woman at Quick Trip this morning.
I tell you, it was a thing.
What the hell?
I couldn't believe it.
If she had said, excuse me, do you mind if I put this? I have too much. Fine.
Of course.
They offer baskets. I
know, but sometimes you don't think you're going to need it, and then all of a sudden you're overloaded. And
but it was obvious that I was getting done with my transaction quickly.
Soon.
Right. All I had to do was pay. He had already rung me up. I was just waiting to get my change. And she just starts putting her crap down in the midst of my transaction. I was pissed. I got to be honest. Wasn't very happy about it. It's those little slights that happen every day, and you're just like, who raised you, and why did they fail?
I don't know if my lady just was unaware that my cart was still half full, or if she just was in a mad rush, but then she should have picked another lane. I don't know what ever happened with that, but I did, keep pushing her stuff back until all my stuff was on the conveyor belt. What kind of tornado did you have, by the way?
It wasn't tornado. I just said tornado, but I pretty much, anytime I get a breakfast at Quick Trip, it's kind of the same thing. I always get the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
Yeah.
That's a must. And then I get the egg, sausage, cheese burrito. Mm-hmm. And if there are egg rolls, I'll grab one of those. For some reason, I always have a hang. But if there aren't any egg rolls, then those two items are.
Got it.
Why?
Well, just that sounds delicious. That's what you had for breakfast this morning.
It was delicious. It would have been a lot more delicious if I hadn't been.
Fudge. Was there not another counter running?
No, there wasn't.
Oh,
Only
okay.
red.
All right.
But the other counter space is available. If you have so much that you can't carry, you can put it down there and then just shift it over when it's your turn. You have to wait your turn. Get back in line. It's like ridiculous. People. I would never do that. That's the problem. Is like I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think I would ever budge and just start throwing my crap on the counter. I mean, there's a very small space for where your checkout's occurring.
I understand.
It'd be different if it was just sort of like,
might, depending.
Well, like a conveyor belt at a grocery store, right? I get it. You put a few things down, maybe on the end where the conveyor belt isn't. Right on that last spot. You put a few things down to get them out of your hands.
Stuff too.
But just like right where I'm checking out. Mm-hmm. Where are your funky soda touching me? Creep. Very upset about that this morning. Five Finger Death Punch coming up in just a bit. Rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us. Let us know what you're up to. Again, cloudy and a high of about 16 today.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Five Finger Death Punch with a little off. Some falling in reverse. Before that, got some Green Day in just a bit. Bowl games yesterday. Notre Dame over Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame will move on to face Penn State next Thursday in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Also yesterday, number 14 Ole Miss beat up on Duke 52-20 in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. I still have yet to get one correct on my two boards. And I only got like 6 games left to pick. Serve Pro First Responders Bowl today at 3 o'clock on ESPN. North Texas taking on Texas State. That's followed by the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which is Minnesota, Virginia Tech, 6:30 that game on ESPN. The Bucks are off tonight. They lost last night to the Brooklyn Nets. They are at home against Portland tomorrow night. 7 o'clock tip. Badger men's basketball at home tonight against Iowa, 6 o'clock on FS1. And, of course, Week 18 in the NFL starts tomorrow with a couple of games, and then Packers at noon against the Bears on Sunday. Packers, by the way, have 3 players on the Pro Bowl roster. Running back Josh Jacobs, edge rusher Rashawn Gary, and safety Xavier McKinney. All making the Pro Bowl roster. Jacobs earning his 3rd Pro Bowl selection, while Gary and McKinney both first-time Pro Bowlers. Congratulations to both of them.
Very much so.
All 3 of them. Alexander Ovechkin now even closer to Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL goals record of 894.
How close?
Gretzky got the 894th March 29th of 1999 against the New York Islanders. Ovi scored goal number 871 against the Minnesota Wild last night.
Okay.
That's his 18th of the season. The goal tied the score at 2-2 in the second period, but the Capitals eventually fell in a shootout. But still, Ovi getting closer and closer.
Sure is.
Yeah. He's now 23 away from tying and 24 away from taking.
Wow. And that was 90, you said, when that
99,
was said?
1999.
Yes,
yep.
Okay, so it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, and the season is about half over. So, I mean, if he's got 18 in the first half or so, he might get another, he might get it this year, if not, probably next year. Pistons guard Jaden Ivey broke his fibula after a collision with Orlando Magic guard Cole Anthony, writhing in pain on the court. Several players from both teams surrounding Ivey as trainers attended to him. He was eventually stretchered off the court, but he's going to miss some serious time with
That's going to
broken
take a while.
fibula. Yeah. And in the world of racing, Zane Smith back at Front Row Motorsports. The team made its long-awaited announcement that Smith would be the third NASCAR Cup Series car in 2025. The formality came after the team said its purchase of a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing had been finalized amidst its legal wrangling with NASCAR over the new charter agreement. We'll obviously get more info on stuff like this from Doc when he rejoins us for the Racing Report in early February. Yeah. Smith, by the way, who's 25, won the 2022 Truck Series title for Front Row Motorsports. He also won 4 races that season and had 19 top 10 finishes over 23 races, so he's pretty damn good. His 4th win of the season came in the winner-take-all championship race, so Zane Smith now going to be driving in the Cup Series for Front Row Motorsports. Going to talk about fog.
Like brain fog or like fog I'm driving in?
Fog.
Like the kind that has creatures in it and then they come out of the mist
You said yesterday you went in a wormhole about the drones.
I did.
Well, you've been off, so you didn't really know if the drones were still a thing.
No, I knew that they were still a thing. I guess what I hadn't looked at was like video because, is it AI? Is it real? Is it what's going on? And so I kind of went and like why we had the weather balloon from China and it was over the United States for a couple days and then everybody was like shoot it down and then we did and then this is like they're fine, we don't really know what's going on. How is that the answer?
Well, next on the list of tinfoil hats, it's the fog.
That's my fog. Okay,
you may want to, you got time this afternoon to lay on your bed and go on your phone?
Not really.
All right, well, you might want to
deep down to the end of the internet,
hatch it out some time
for the fog.
Yeah. We'll get to that in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
The latest from Green Day, that is Bobby Sox. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The fog. It's apparently the next thing that the conspiracy theorists are talking about on the interwebs.
All right. I'm game. What's up?
Supposedly these creepy chemical fogs have been showing up around the world randomly, causing all sorts of respiratory issues and flu-like symptoms. And there's even some videos of the fog, almost like a storm front, which is very unfog-like. The fog just sort of kind of appears. You know what I mean?
Is this like a dust bowl kind of thing?
But you see in some of the videos where there's an edge to it, and it's creeping over the town like this.
Sure.
And people are seeing it like a wall as opposed to just sort of an overall mist that appears. You haven't looked into this?
No. Well, I am now.
Again, videos from all over the globe. America having respiratory issues since the fog started. This woman in her area changed the filter in her air purifier, checks it again because of all the fog, and there's all sorts of gunk inside of it.
There's gunk?
Most of the videos involve people talking about thick, particle-filled mist that some claim is delivering flu-like symptoms that is appearing all over the place in the U.S., Canada, otherwhere.
Okay, well, so let's just say...
ominous fog. I've
been at... let's just say like a fireworks display or something, when you're backstage and there's things there's explosions or pyrotechnics and stuff, and there is a smoke or a fog, if you will, that comes from some of that, and that can smell.
People have been posting videos of the ominous fog rolling through their towns.
Ominous.
Some claim it smells chemical or electric. Obviously, conspiracy theorists blowing up the internet right now over fog. People are very concerned about the fog.
Get inside and lock your doors. Close your windows. There's something in the fog.
Is it,
Fog-Vid24 is trending right now on social media because of all the conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat people who are concerned about the mysterious fog that's creeping all over the globe right now.
Well, she had air purifier gunk, too. Gunk and fog. Fog and gunk.
Yeah, basically, people are saying that the government is spraying us with a new virus in the fog. Some of them.
Like I said, you have been too, where you've been at an event where there's something burning or there's an explosion or there's pyrotechnics or whatever that create kind of a smoky fog that does smell. So is there some sort of,
Well, as we know, just a week ago, when the temperature warms up and all of the ice on the river starts to melt,
it made some really mysterious looking stuff.
There's more moisture in the air, and early in the morning, the humidity is high, causing plenty of mist and fog.
That doesn't necessarily smell like burning plastic.
And then you add in the seasonal spiking of flus and coughs and colds and who knows what else people are getting when they're gathering together. And then all of a sudden, tinfoil hat wearers are very concerned about Fog-Vid24.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the videos. It could.
There is one I saw where it reminded me of when we were at Rockfest one year, and there was a massive storm, and there is always a massive storm at Rockfest, but there was one year, and we got video and pictures of it.
It came rolling
and it literally was like a circle. I mean, we were inside of and you're like, oh my God, we're gonna get sucked up into a vortex or something like that, and you could see the wall. You know, it was almost like flat. Of clouds, and that's what one of these fog videos looks like. These guys are in this town, and it doesn't look like a normal mist or
it looks
fog.
Like a storm moving across.
Yes, but it's a bright sunny day, and there's no rain or lightning or thunder or anything. It's just sort of moving very slowly over the buildings in this town. It was one of the videos I saw. Not that I'm a believer, but
were there drones there too?
Maybe they were from New Jersey.
Something in the mist.
Ooh, the mist.
Something in the mist.
No.
Took John Lee.
Yeah.
Catch your breath.
Something in the mist took John Lee.
Yeah.
If the fog does descend on your town, get inside, lock the doors, don't go out, and don't let anybody who believes in the Bible start telling you what to do.
Just, I don't know.
According to that movie, because that lady went wacko real fast.
Did.
You could see it coming, too. He should have taken her out, bam, right away. Established dominance in a situation like that.
Grocery store, it was a bad scene.
Plenty of food, right?
Everybody was safe for a very long time.
Start boarding up the windows immediately and get rid of the Bible lady.
You gotta
get her out of there.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
But if you want to go down another wormhole today,
right.
Much like you did with the drones.
I did.
Fog-Vid24.
I don't know which videos are real, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really tell.
You're one of those people?
Well,
all right.
Yeah, they look like it.
It's Pantera.
Rock mornings on your rock station.
Mudvayne by request for Ethan, who texted in a few minutes ago, and he said, Mudvayne, perhaps? And I said, I got you. And he said, very badass of you. You're welcome. Thank you, Ethan. Also got a text from my guy, Heath.
Is Heath seeing the fog?
No.
Oh.
Heath said, hey, Brian and Gene, listening to you talk about your new puppy. Anytime you want to socialize your pup with a large dog, text us and we can meet. My dog, Ozzy, yes, named after Ozzy Osbourne, is a 3-year-old Newfoundland.
Oh!
2-titled therapy dog, most chill dog ever. He likes everyone, can go anywhere. We'd love to meet sometime. Have a good day. Thanks.
Love the Newfies. My neighbor has 2.
Big old hairy Newfoundland.
They look like almost bear when they walk down the aisle or the alley and round the corner.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Remy, our puppy, reacts to a dog that's bigger than her. Because right now, she is double the size of Fenway. Maybe not necessarily in weight, but in legs and just
height.
And she's bigger than the cat now, too. She was smaller than the cat and Fenway when we brought her home. But now she's, in like 3 weeks' time, she's already bigger than everybody. And there's a lot of bullying going on. She's trying to put Fenway's whole entire head in her mouth. I don't know why. I don't know what that's all about. And Fenway just sort of wants to be left alone. But if there's treats involved, Fenway will snap at Remy.
Yeah.
If they're because one of the gifts we got Remy for Christmas was a Nylabone, and it comes with a popper, or you put the treat in it and you'd work on it. And of course, Fenway claimed that as hers, which is fine. But if Fenway's working on that thing and Remy comes anywhere near it, then Fenway is going to let her know that she's not interested.
There.
And the cat, of course, has got the upper hand because he can escape on top of things, but he also has the claws and the hissing. which Remy is not a fan of. So there's a lot of batting at the face.
A big dog would be...
But a big dog would be very funny to see. Thank you, Heath, for the offer. I'll let you know if I take you up on it. Ed said those are the two best songs to play back-to-back. I'm assuming he means Pantera's Walk and Mudvayne's Dig. Also, our buddy James in Altoona said, my man, thank you for the Mudvayne. Can we have some Pantera, too? He must have just tuned in because we played Pantera literally right before the Mudvayne. Sorry, James. Also got a text from my guy, Jesse Pickles. Got a message on Facebook from him. He said, underground fence. Bit of a bitch to put the wire in, but I thought the same with our dog. Now has a 1 to 5 foot border from the fence, depending on how you set it. It's only like $300. You won't get close. Sad, though, they can figure out it's going to sock them when they do. Lots of crying until they figure out the border. Yeah, no offense, and I'm not trying to tell you how to parent your dog. I know a lot of people do the electric fence.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
We're not going to do it. I find it to be a bit cruel. Personally. I'm, again, not judging anybody who does it. I'm just saying, for me, I don't know if I could cope with that internally.
We have some people that moved in a couple years ago, built a new house, and have an invisible fence, and it works great for their. But I didn't know they had it, and then their Golden comes running and knows,
and then
she
hits
stops,
the brakes.
Right, and she's great. But it's like, okay, she's good. I was worried for her, but she does just great.
Cheryl texted in and said you could have Remy meet my Daisy along with a picture. It looks like a Great Dane. Almost like Marmaduke.
Very big.
Yeah. And Joe said we're just missing some Slayer this morning. I might be able to do that. Thanks for all the correspondence. Find us online at rockmornings.com. Got some Theory of a Dead Man in a couple of minutes. Get to bad news with happy music. Friggin' sports as well.
I'm pretty sure they're alien spores. I'm watching the video.
The fog?
Yeah.
It's aliens?
Yeah.
We're breathing in aliens?
Yeah, it's alien spores.
All right.
That's what I've got.
Well, if they could just, end it quickly, that would be nice. Like, maybe, let's get to work here. Let's stop messing around.
Fog-Vid? Is that what it is?
Fog-Vid24. Yeah. It's a thing, man.
More of your rock mornings coming up in just a bit.
Theory of a Dead Man on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Greta, 22. Is there any other Greta?
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. Yet, I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying.
She's 22?
Yeah, today. She's 22. I got news for you, Greta. People die every day. It's part of life. It's dying. Patty Pimblett is 30. Patty the Batty. UFC fighter. Bowl cut.
No idea.
You'd know him. Well, you'd recognize him if you saw a picture of him. You wouldn't know who he was, but yeah. Eli Manning, 44. Danica McKellar played Winnie Cooper on The Wonder Years.
What would you do
50 today.
if I sang out of tune?
My husband had a huge crush.
Who didn't?
Yeah. Which is why our dog was named Winnie, by the way.
Winnie Cooper. Yeah. She's 50 today. She wrote books, right, about math or something like that? Was
she's
that her?
super smart.
She's like a big-time nerd, big-time math nerd. A lot of brains in there. Winnie Cooper. Danica McKellar, 50. Mel Gibson is 69 years old today.
What do you say, Jack? Would you like a shot at the title?
Oof. Riggs from Lethal Weapon films. Mel Gibson, 69.
Swing away, Meryl. Meryl. Swing away.
Hell yeah, swing away, Meryl. Hit them aliens with water. Those really smart aliens who flew all the way to Earth, which is covered by 70% water. What could possibly go wrong? I think that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong said that the aliens maybe didn't know they were allergic to water, or like it was deadly to them. That was kind of the deal.
Didn't do very good research then, did they?
They didn't send one guy down to check it out. Good old JR, 73, Jim Ross. By God. That's Kane's music. Barbecue sauce. You know he's got barbecue sauce? Mm-hmm. Loves himself some barbecue. Good old JR, Jim Ross, 73 today. Also celebrating a birthday today, 79 years young for John Paul Jones, bass player for Led Zeppelin. How low can you go?
79 is what you said?
79. John Paul Jones, bass player for Led Zeppelin, 79 years young today. Born on this day in 1963. He died in 2021. ECW legend, New Jack. Real name, Jerome Young. The Vice, I think it was Vice, Dark Side of the Ring special on him. Riveting.
Died young? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, he was, 60 years old, whatever, 58. But he lived a hell of a life, man. New Jack from the ECW. Huh? He walked it and he talked it. I wouldn't mess with that guy. No way. No way. And today, by the way, is J.R.R. Tolkien Day because the guy who created The Hobbits and The Lord of the Rings, born on this day in 1892, died in 1973. J.R.R. Tolkien.
Watch a long movie or a series of long movies.
All of them. I think it's 4,000 hours if you watch them all back to back. Yeah. On this day, January 3rd, 1993, they call it the comeback. A lot of NFL games have names. Mm-hmm. The Ice Bowl. This one was called the comeback. Buffalo Bills came back from a 32-point deficit to beat the Oilers 41-38 in overtime, the comeback game.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. 1987, Aretha Franklin became the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
When Aretha first told us what RSPECT meant to her.
You big dummy. Somebody read the whole song, she spelled it. And the whole song, the whole way through.
It's nerves.
It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Yeah, Aretha in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. First woman to ever get it done on this day in 1987. 1993, legendary Celtics play-by-play announcer Johnny Most died at the age of 70.
Greer's putting the ball on a play. He gets it out. He could have a check field.
It's over. It's all over.
It's over.
I used to fall asleep with a radio under my pillow at night listening to Johnny Most call Boston Celtics games.
I was going to say, you must have an intimate connection with that.
Years and years and years. And such a strange, weird voice. But it worked. Yeah. And 2014, Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers died at the age of 74. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease got them. One half of the Everly Brothers. Bye-bye, love. Wake up, little Susie. And there you go. Some stuff that happened on January 3rd, along with some birthdays. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Mm-hmm. 2025. I just had to write it for the first time on the signature line.
I'm having trouble remembering. It's 2-5, not 2-4.
Yeah.
Got to remember that. We'll get to some Temple of the Dog. Also, some bad news, happy music, and our daily check-in, so hang out with us.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Starting to lighten up. Not as cloudy as I thought it was going to be, but still very cold. 16 for a high today. Same thing tomorrow, same thing on Sunday. Lots of clouds in the forecast.
So it sounds like some movement with the Brewers, huh? Getting different players and adding to their roster. I suppose everybody's doing that before the season starts.
Season.
We've got that the bus trips, by the way, for that opening day, going both from Eau Claire and La Crosse to
the home opener against the Royals.
Yeah,
Monday, March 31st.
Regardless of weather, it's going to be great because, of course, they've got the roof to close, and we've got a tailgate and then another tailgate, and it's all included: your food, your round trip transportation, and your ticket to that game. But adding some bullpen depth, it sounds like, in the last couple days.
WiscoTrips.com for more info on that. Brew Crew home opener bus trip to see the Brewers take on the Royals. That's, again, Monday, March 31st. Blink and you'll miss it.
Mm-hmm.
Apple settling a 5-year class action lawsuit over Siri privacy. What? Our devices are listening in on our conversations? I'm shocked. Proposed settlement filed earlier this week in a court in Oakland, California. The company agreeing to pay $95 million to the class members, estimated to be tens of millions of Siri-enabled device owners. U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Wright needs to approve the settlement before it becomes official. Obviously, a lot of that money's going to the lawyers. Eventually, it might trickle down, but if you're an Apple user and you're part of that class action lawsuit they settled earlier this week, you may want to look into that. You might be due some money. Maybe you'll get a $5 gift card to the Apple Store. Right?
That's probably about it.
2 people dead, 19 others injured after a small plane crashed into a building rooftop in Southern California yesterday. Fullerton police and fire personnel responding to reports of an unknown plane that had crashed into the roof of a commercial building just about 2 o'clock. Fullerton Police Department spokesperson Christy Wells said the incident, which remains under investigation, occurred about a half mile from the Fullerton Municipal Airport. So it sounds like maybe they experienced some difficulties right after takeoff.
That's where they needed to land, is right there.
19 people were working who were working inside the building during the time of the plane crash were injured. 11 people transported to area hospitals for treatment. 8 others treated and released on scene. The identities of the people killed, both of whom were believed to have been in the aircraft at the time of the crash, will be released by the Orange County Coroner's Office pending next of kin notifications. But yeah.
That's as close as we can get, is this rooftop.
Oof. And in Wisconsin, a kindergarten student fatally struck by a school bus carrying other students
horrifying.
Yesterday in Waukesha County. Authorities said the student was struck by the bus at about 8:37 in the morning in the parking lot of Silver Spring Intermediate School. Student who was struck awaiting transfer to a shuttle bus to Willow Springs Learning Center, according to authorities.
I don't even, how?
Officials said the cause of the incident remains under investigation, with the driver of the bus fully cooperating with the authorities' investigation. The sheriff's department there clarifying that there was no active threat to the community. Some kid running around, somebody not paying attention, maybe fell down. I don't know. Awful, though. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Going to get to the friggin' sports here in just a couple of minutes. Also, bad news, happy music. Right now, it's Hunger Strike.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Ask and ye shall receive on a Friday. Nothing wrong with some Slayer at 8:25. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The friggin' sports! Brought to you by Oops.
What do you mean, oops?
Washington Commanders beating the Falcons to secure their place in the postseason. Safety for the Commanders, Jeremy Reeves, got his girlfriend, Michaela Worley, out of the stands and dropped to one knee. Right at the wall there at the end of the end zone.
Yeah.
Proposing to his longtime girlfriend. A lot of joy, a lot of celebration, a lot of emotion, right?
A lot of no.
She said yes.
Oh, okay.
But she may change her answer. Shortly after the proposal went viral, social media allegations started to surface.
Oh, boy.
An individual using the handle only Kia with 5 A's reshared the NFL's post of the moment, claiming that Reeves had contacted her just months prior with an offer to meet up, saying, quote, "Not the same man who was in my DMs trying to fly me out." Oops. Fans of the Commanders and Jeremy Reeves defending him, dismissing the claims as unfounded, maybe driven by jealousy. Others pointing out a lack of tangible evidence provided by the accuser. Where are said DMs, right?
Yes.
You would know who this...
You could say whichever you want.
Anybody can say anything they want. Apparently, she's an exotic dancer, by the way. Less than 24 hours after the engagement occurred on the fields, the controversy started to pop up all over Twitter. appears to be a stripper jumping on her account. Quote, tweeted the video to expose him as a cheater, saying, not the same man who was in my DMs trying to fly me out an F. I think the F not. Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Except it's just somebody saying something, isn't it?
She may have receipts. We have yet to find out. But she would go on, by the way, to post a short video where sexual audio could be heard. But she just covered herself, as well as the person that she was apparently providing sexual sounds to prove she was not lying about Reeves.
How's that prove anything?
I don't know.
I would say that doesn't prove anything.
Still, though, you're out there trying to... I mean, if it is her lying, this guy's out there trying to have a moment with his lovely young fiance. You got to go and pee on his parade. But if you do have receipts, the story could get a lot more interesting. Where are the DMs? If you have the DMs, you would know. You would have the receipts, right? You'd be able to show proof.
Are you waiting until he asks her to marry him before you bring up all that too?
Maybe she'll show up at the wedding. You know, when they ask about anybody here who has something to say, speak now, forever hold your peace.
No, I'll just announce it all over the internet.
Only Kia with 5 A's. I think it's 5 A's. Oops. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to Hailstorm in just a bit, and Bad News, Happy Music coming up.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
You know me, I'm not getting on a cruise ship anyways, but here's another reason.
Somebody I was just talking to that's their like lifelong, who was it? Lifelong thing is to go, they
go on a cruise?
Super want to go on a cruise, like super.
Look, the imagery in the commercials is beautiful. It's supposed to be. It's selling you a dream. But I don't want to be on a boat in the ocean with a bunch of people I don't know.
You don't like the ocean anyway.
I don't want any of that. I just don't. They must have like a smaller than one of these massive cruise ships where you can go on like a really nice boat, like a yacht almost, right?
Oh, they have all the things.
And go through the Bering Strait or one of those kind of things.
Pay for anything you want.
All right. Well, add this to the list of reasons not to take a cruise.
Oh, no.
A dozen Royal Caribbean passengers are now suing the cruise line after a former crew member filmed guests in their cabins while they were naked, including children. New lawsuit comes 5 months after 34-year-old Arvin Joseph Marisol, the former employee of the passenger cruise, was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to producing child pornography. Once again named in a recent 30-page lawsuit that was filed on behalf of all 12 plaintiffs, each one of them a U.S. resident. This lawsuit filed in Florida. The plaintiffs in the case suffering physical pain.
So he had like secret cameras set up in the
mental
rooms,
anguish, loss of enjoyment of life, post-traumatic stress disorder, other mental and nervous disorders. Injuries are permanent and continuing in nature, demand a judgment for all damages recoverable under the law, including punitive damages and a trial by jury. Apparently, these people were sailing in December of 2023 and January of 2024, staying in cabins that were serviced by Marisol when he worked for the company Symphony of the Seas ship prior to his arrest in March. Responsible for uploading and or transmitting images and videos of the victims while they were undressed, engaging in private activities.
So he didn't take them for himself. He also took them and distributed them on the internet. Oh, boy.
Marisol, a Philippine citizen, additionally faces up to 15 counts of video voyeurism. 34-year-old worked for the Royal Caribbean from December of 2023 until February of 2024 as a stateroom attendant, regularly cleaning passenger rooms, restocking towels, changing sheets.
Doing the stuff you're supposed to do when you work there.
One of the voyages, a girl found a small camera pointed towards the shower when she reached under the sink for some toilet paper while on a cruise with her older sister. The family then proceeding to call guest services, alerting ship security about the incident.
I'm sure.
And then everything started to unravel.
Yeah.
Ugh. Add that to the list of things you don't want to have happen to you on a cruise ship. Some sicko videotaping you and
your
kids.
family.
Ugh. Here's a guy in Missouri.
Tell me more.
Pulled over, speeding 107 miles an hour on the I-35 while playing a video game. Cops say we forgot to ask if he was playing NASCAR, but we'll assume. In a post on social media. Incident occurred on December 27th. Officers stopping a white car. Police say the driver engrossed in a video game and was also operating on a suspended license. Driver now facing multiple charges, pending court date, but...
So driving, speeding, no license, and playing video games at the same time?
Yeah. 107 miles an hour. While playing a video game. Maybe he was playing Street Fighter.
Well, they're not saying if it was a handheld device then, or was he playing like on his screen in the car? I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't say.
Final round, fight.
Again, they didn't really specify what game he was playing, but my guess is it was Candy Crush, something like that, maybe. Something on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
The Clay Como Police Department in Missouri posting on social media. Earlier tonight, one of our officers stopped the white car pictured on I-35. Driver was playing a video game. Yes, a video game while driving 107 miles per hour on a suspended license. Apparently, he was so distracted he didn't see our motor officer in the lane ahead of him. Needless to say, he has a court date pending with several charges for his actions.
I'm not looking at that.
We forgot to ask if he was playing NASCAR, but we'll assume.
I'm focused.
Yeah. I told you. The amount of people I saw with the phone like this when we went to Milwaukee.
Driving a car?
Not even looking. Just on the highway, 85, the phone right here. And
no.
Oh, yeah. I get it, dude. I'm as guilty as anyone. I look down at the phone. Maybe I'll send a text here and there. But, legit, just phone right here, steering wheel like this, just driving down the highway.
Oh, my gosh.
So many of them on the way to Milwaukee. It was crazy. And it's only going to get worse.
No, don't do that.
These cars are like, hey, take your hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
Do this. Yeah, it's great. It's good. Last but not least, did you ever sell your breast milk?
No.
You didn't produce enough? You just had enough for the kids?
Yes. They had a job and they were good at it, and that was enough.
But I do
know
I don't want to say there's
happens.
many, but there are women out there that overproduce and sell their breast milk.
Or do it as a service because there's other babies
women who
that
can't produce?
Yeah.
Well, this woman's doing something different with her breast milk. She's making jewelry out of it.
Okay. It's just an Etsy thing?
Where else would you put breast milk jewelry, Gene?
Etsy. Great.
Elise Terrell came up with her idea for her jewelry business through her own experience with loss. Her mother, dying of ovarian cancer in 2019, 3 months later, pregnant with her third child. She said, I ended up having to go through that whole pregnancy without my mom. Found herself doing research on ovarian cancer after the birth of her daughter, found out breastfeeding could lower her risk. Terrell, who had seen DNA jewelry pieces in the past, right? A little bit of ashes maybe in a vial, something like that.
I've seen different ones, yeah.
Decided to make a piece of jewelry to remember her mother. So she used her mother's ashes as well as her very own breast milk to make a ring. She She said, I wanted to incorporate both losing my mom, but also kind of how cool is it that breastfeeding is sort of the antithesis of what she passed away from.
Y'all got to walk uptown to the Bronx and get breast milk from a Cambodian immigrant.
Or on Etsy.
Or just go on Etsy and get some of this lady's jewelry. I don't know if you can melt it down.
Probably not.
Don't think you want to?
You don't want to.
Not quite sure what the process is there.
Well, I do have big breasts. Mm-hmm.
Terrell went on to launch her DNA jewelry business, Forget Me Not Jewelry. After making her first piece, customers can choose to include a variety of items in the piece, such as, here's where it goes off the rails a little bit, breast milk, ashes, hair, flowers, even umbilical cords. I got a locket with an umbilical cord in it that I carry around with me. She makes the jewelry by getting a sample of the breast milk from the customer, uses a preservation process to dry it out. So she's got powdered breast milk. Turns into a powder, grinding it using a mortar and a pestle.
I got one of those.
The breast milk powder is then combined with resin used in different jewelry, including rings and necklaces.
Those breasts can be quite large.
Thank you, Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Customers order breast milk pieces for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, what are the variety of reasons?
For some, it's a way to remember the struggle and celebration of being able to breastfeed. For others, it can be a way to remember the loss of a child. The leftover breast milk from her customers is saved by Terrell in the case that the customer wants another piece or loses their jewelry. So she's got a fridge of strangers' breast milk hanging out in her house.
It's spare.
Extra. Read all about it.
Milk was a bad choice.
So she dries it out, makes it into a powder, uses that powder with resin to make the jewelry.
She says, I have shoe boxes of breast milk. Breast milk jewelry. It's a thing. I had no idea.
I did not either. I hope those shoe boxes are refrigerated or
I'm assuming you got to keep them, right?
Or
doesn't the milk go bad? The milk's gone bad.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Milk me.
What?
Be a man and milk me.
It would definitely go bad, yes.
Okay. I mean, it comes out warm, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's a room temperature forever kind of thing.
No? All right. Well, if you want to look her up, it's Forget Me Not Jewelry, and she's making breast milk
pieces,
rings, and
bracelets.
Would it be weird to get a nipple ring made of your own breast milk?
Well, my answer would be yes, but I don't want to judge other people in their ways that they remember someone.
Put that thing right back where it came from. Put that thing right back where it came from.
Bracelet for Christmas, but it's just.
Are you sure there's no breast milk in it?
Yes.
I don't know. It looks kind of milky.
It's birthstones of us, all 5 of us, but like
one of them could be made of breast milk. They just put some dye in it.
Is it cheese made of moose milk?
Yes.
And milk meat fucker?
I think it's just regular
breast milk jewelry.
There you go.
It's the thing. Who knew?
It's one of a kind.
Bad news, happy music. On Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, we'll get to our daily check-ins after Poppy.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website. You can find all of our contact info there. You can register to win date night on Fridays, which is pizza and movie passes in Eau Claire. You go into the Micon Cinemas and Rocky Rococo's. In La Crosse, you're going to Saxon Hall and the Marcus Cinema. Our winners this week are?
Every week we do this, by the way, on Fridays. So make sure that you get signed up. It's free to do so. Rockmornings.com. You get 2 movie passes and then you get pizza. And we have Sheila's going to the movies. She already got back to me and said, I'm so excited. Thank you. That'll be great. I don't know if she's seen Moana or what, but then also pizza.
I'm guessing they're a Nosferatu.
Unless she's taking her daughter. That's what I was thinking.
Probably not Nosferatu.
And then Joshua is Menominee. So congratulations.
Sheila. Congrats, Josh. Got a text from Tom, said, I'm a retired truck driver. I saw a chick driving with her feet while she was on the phone on I-90.
Ugh.
The other thing I saw a lot of on my way to Milwaukee when we went to the Pabst Theater to see Ralphie was cracked windshields. I saw it felt like a epidemic of cracked windshields. I guess people just don't care. I mean, if they're not caring enough to pay attention while they drive, why would they care about fixing their windshield?
Their phones, huh?
Dude, there was
going 85 miles an hour.
The one guy, I'll give him credit. It was kind of smart. Like most of them, they're driving like this, and the phone's down here because they got the armrest, right? So it's down. So they're not even they have to look away from the road.
Oh, that's scary.
Down into the right.
Scary. Don't do that.
This guy, though, again, to his credit, I'll give him a little bit of credit.
Did he have it up in the phone?
He had it up like this. He had it in front of him, so he was kind of like half, going, so it was in front of him.
Was it the folding holders? Were you watching the map? No,
he was holding it with his, no. Yeah. And again, I am as guilty as anyone of looking at my phone or maybe sending a text or whatever, but one thing I'm not doing is 85 on the highway with my phone like this while I'm looking at it.
No. Put it down.
Too many idiots out there.
Put it down.
Cheryl texted in about our little Remy, our boxer puppy that we got a few weeks ago, meeting her Daisy. It's like a big old Mastiff or Great Dane of some sort. Said she likes to cuddle with our son. That's cute. Little cuddle bug. James in Altoona wanted to hear some Pantera. We already did that. He said, how about some Chevelle? And I said, I can take care of you. I'll get to that here in a bit. Joe wanted to hear some Slayer. We did that. Thank you, Joe. Ed said those are the two best songs to play back-to-back. He was referring to Pantera and Mudvayne. Also, thanks to my guy Heath, who wanted to invite Remy over for a little play date with his dog, Ozzy, a 3-year-old Newfoundland. Ethan wanted to hear some Mudvayne. We did that. Said very badass of you. Thank you. Thanks to Pickles, again, for the suggestion about the buried wire, the dog collar wire. Invisible fence, whatever it is. Again, do you? I'm not trying to parent your dogs, but I don't know if I could bring myself to do that.
Yeah, we have one in our neighborhood that looks like it works great, but
the problem with the invisible fence is that it's the same distance on either side. So if they get enough gumption and go past it, then once they're on the other side, it fails to do its job, right? Essentially. But yeah, I am concerned that at some point when she gets big enough, she's going to yeet over one of these fences in the backyard.
Well, that won't
and she hasn't really discovered the squirrels yet.
She's still a baby.
Fenway chases the squirrels because we got the bird feeder by the tree. And, of course, the squirrels are out. They're getting as much as they can. And as soon as Fenway sees the squirrel, she goes right after it. And Remy sort of runs around, doesn't really pay much attention. But once she, I think, gets a whiff of the squirrels or the bunnies that we have living underneath our deck, yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any stopping her going over the fence.
Well, walk your dogs on shorter walks this weekend. It's going to be chilly. Teens and down into 0 and wind chills below 0 for both nights this weekend. So just stay warm and stay safe. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Have a great weekend.